Hey guys, today we're going to reenact Always Winter and Never Christmas from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We're going to make Turkish Delight. If you haven't read this, Turkish Delight is a very important part of the beginning of the story because it's enchantingly addictive. So the first thing we're going to do is take half a cup of water. We're going to put in 3 envelopes of gelatin. It's the unflavored kind. Comes in a box like this. It's near the regular gelatin. If this is not something you normally buy, it's pretty easy to find. It has to be softened up first. So this is cold water. And I'm just gonna shake it in here and let it sit while we go on to the next part. So we'll take pots about this big, put in half a cup of water, and this might be the reason it's enchantingly addictive, 2.5 cups of sugar. We're really making candy here. You need sugar. Now I'm going to cook this over a medium-low heat and stir it until the sugar is kind of dissolved and it comes to a boil. Okay, came to a boil. So now we're going to put in the gelatin, which as you can see is totally stiff and clumpy now. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to cook and stir this over low heats. I'm going to bring it back to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer so it's very gentle bubbles for 20 minutes. And I'm going to stir it pretty often. So it's kind of a labor of love. So this has simmered for 20 minutes and it's been cooling for 10 minutes. Now it looks kind of like thick and syrupy, kind of amber colored. We're going to put in 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. My original recipe that I'm working from calls for half a teaspoon of lemon extract next, but I am going to use half a teaspoon of strawberry flavor oil. Now these are a little harder to find. I don't always see them at the grocery store, but I always see them at the craft store. That's a funny spot to go grocery shopping. In the aisle with the fancy cake pans and all the decorating supplies for cookie and cake making. And they have usually a pretty big selection of flavors. I think a fruity flavor goes in here pretty nice, but it's your recipe, you can experiment. So once we get this mixed in, it smells very strawberry-y. You're gonna want a plastic container to let it set in. So I've got one about this big. Put a little water in it, swirl it around, dump the water out. You want it to be a little wet, but not puddly. And we'll pour our mixture right in here. There we go. We're going to let that sit overnight. It doesn't have to go in the fridge. It can just sit on the counter overnight. Put a piece of plastic wrap on top of it if you want. And then we'll see what happens to our Turkish Delight. It's the next morning, and it's a sticky and solid block. Now we just have to get it out of here. This is probably the trickiest part. So I've got a cookie sheet with a bunch of powdered sugar on it, and I'm going to attempt to pry the sticky slab out of this Tupperware. It's really in there. Definitely the hardest part. I thought about using my beloved parchment paper in here, but I honestly don't have any faith that it would come off of the parchment paper any more easily than the plastic. But if you try it out and it works better than this, let me know. definitely happening sometime today. See in progress. We did it! Look at that, so pretty. Now I have some more powdered sugar to spread on top. And then we're just gonna cut it into little tiny squares or pieces. They might not be really square. And roll them in powdered sugar. And that is how you make Turkish delights. Enjoy, and I'll see you at the library.